Are you ready to level up your career? In today's world, mastering the right etiquette is key to climbing the corporate ladder or creating strategic relationships to expand your empire. Whether meetings, networking events, or leading teams, the way you present yourself can make or break your career. In this video, I'm sharing 20 must-know business etiquette rules every serious professional woman needs to know. Because it's not just about what you know, but how you show up. Okay, ladies, let's do this. This video is by popular request, and I am so happy to oblige. The number of people who lose the opportunity to even present an idea or a deal due to unforced errors is astounding to me. Simple things you can control, like showing up on time or correct email etiquette. These etiquette tips are so easy and obvious, yet the vast majority of people don't practice them. And therein lies your opportunity to shine. 80% of being successful is just doing the basics others do not. Number 1, don't over-apologize. Women tend to apologize even when they haven't done anything wrong. Oh, sorry, you didn't do anything. While certainly showing a bit of humility is good, excessive apologizing can diminish your authority and make you look weak and submissive. Own your decisions and apologize only when necessary. I most always avoided saying I'm sorry just because of the baggage attached to it. Rather, if I made a poor decision, I'd say something to the effect of, that was my mistake, or that one's on me. I'm still taking responsibility, but I'm not using the I'm sorry. Yeah, just don't do that. Number 2, handle interruptions gracefully. Women, more so than men, are often interrupted in meetings, but how we handle these situations can make a big difference. A couple of ways to handle them, and choose what feels best and most natural to you. That's when it's going to come across as authentic. When you're interrupted, just firmly continue making your point without heeding to the interruption. That should be enough for most anyone with any level of decorum to stop and allow you to finish your point. If they don't, firmly say, "Excuse me, I wasn't finished speaking," with direct eye contact. That's key. Whatever you do not lose your composure. Standing your ground, saying, "Excuse me, I wasn't finished speaking," with direct eye contact shows a level of confidence and leadership. Number 3, balance professionalism with warmth. This is easier said than done, and it certainly might take a lot of practice if it doesn't come naturally to you. As women, we often face the challenge of either being too cold or too emotional. Striking a balance between being warm and approachable while still being professional with leadership qualities can help you establish strong working relationships without compromising your authority. When I was first starting out, I was admittedly a real hard ass, I will tell you. I was in the very male-dominated telecom industry. There was lots of machismo, lots of bravado, and if you didn't have a very thick skin or grow one very quickly, you were eaten alive, my friend. The average tenure of salespeople in the telecom industry, 3 months. I lasted 10 years. As I grew more comfortable with my abilities and my place in the industry, I allowed myself to soften and exude the warmth that has always been within me a bit more until I struck a nice balance. Number 4, when addressing a woman in communications, it is Ms., never Mrs. Miss refers to a single woman. Mrs., of course, refers to a married woman. Ever notice that there isn't the same level of association for a man? It's always Mr., regardless of his relationship status, primarily because traditionally women have always been viewed through the lens of their marital status, their relationship to a man. The use of Ms. in both verbal and written format is as neutral as Mr. and acknowledges that she is her own person regardless of whether or not she's married. My sister is a single professional woman. She owns a nice home that, yes, she earned and bought on her own. And actually, it's her 4th home, let's just say. Because of this, every real estate or financial solicitation always addresses her as Mrs. because they assume she's married. While some women may not care, many actually find it offensive, so you're better off just being neutral. Address them as Ms. You can't go wrong with that. In email communications, it is dear, not hey. If you are contacting me for a business opportunity, the quickest way to get your email sent to the trash is to start your message with, "Hey, Shelly," or even worse, just "Hey." Aside from being completely unprofessional, it showcases that you're absolutely unaware of how to address a prospect with whom you'd like to do business. It also comes off as a little bit rude, dismissive, and, I could take it or leave it. Instead, if you are contacting somebody for the first time, without exception, err on the side of formality. Dear Ms. Pelly, dear Mr. Jones, you can never go wrong that way, and you will stand out above and beyond most people. As you progress in the relationship, obviously most people are fine with you using their first name. Even so, in communications, I will still address it as hi Susan, or hello Susan, or good morning Susan, never hey. The only time I use the word hey is literally with a very good girlfriend, and it's usually like, hey girl, something along those lines, but it doesn't belong in the professional sphere. Number 6, write clearly and concisely in communications. Emails are not the time to emote or brain dump. People have very short attention spans, and writing paragraphs and paragraphs with unnecessary information can come off as indecisive, wishy-washy, and sometimes even overly emotional. Instead, be crystal clear and to the point. Aside from saving time, it reduces misunderstandings and ensures that both your ideas and your instructions are heard loud and clear. This may mean spending a little extra time carving down your final communication into a clear, succinct message. I was infamous for bullet-pointed emails. I was very succinct and to the point. I would usually start off with addressing the topic. Here's the issue, followed by perhaps 3 succinct bullet points. Then, here are the proposed solutions. Number 1, number 2, number 3, ending with something to the effect of, please let me know your thoughts. The point is, remember that you have a limited amount of time to grasp somebody's attention, so just be clear and get your points across quickly. Number 7, master the art of small talk. Not my favorite thing, but it's very important. Of course, it can feel very artificial at first, but mastering the art of small talk helps to build rapport as well as relationships with clients and colleagues. It's more about learning how to effectively break the ice and get to know somebody on an appropriately personal level for the workspace. Of course, doing so leads to a much friendlier atmosphere, which can lead to more opportunities and collaborations for you. Ask open-ended questions, listen intently, ask follow-up questions. For example, so are you from San Diego originally? No, Washington State. Oh, I grew up in Seattle. What part of Washington? Bellevue. Bellevue is beautiful. What brought you down here? Oh, my wife is in the Navy, so we're stationed here, and then I had this job opportunity, so I took it. You can see how I've now created a more personal yet still professional situation. Number 8, dress appropriately even for after-hour events. This, of course, is even more appropriate for women. And listen, I am not saying it's fair. I'm saying that is the deal right now. Don't hate the playa, hate the game. Dress in a way that fits the culture of your workspace. Some workspaces are much more casual than others. When I worked for a software company that catered to athletes, the culture was a very cool, relaxed, Southern California kind of vibe. So the dress code was much more relaxed than when I was in telecom, which was a lot more buttoned up. Take your cue from what everyone else is wearing. And I might say take your cue from your boss, your boss's boss, from how the higher ups dress and follow accordingly. Then just bump it up a notch. For example, at the software company where everybody was pretty casual and in jeans, I'd wear dark jeans, a heel, and a blazer in order to bump it up a notch. For women, steer clear of anything super sexy. I don't think I would have to tell you that. Like overly short skirts or tight pants. It doesn't mean you have to wear a potato sack or dress like a guy. Just keep it classy and professional. For after-hour events, whether it's client meetings, parties, or in my case, sales awards, events when you're getting dressed up. Remember, it is still a professional work environment. This is not the time to bring sexy bag. I recommend zero cleavage and a skirt length that is maximum touching the top of your kneecap. I always ran it through the lens of, is this something that I would wear to dinner with my parents or my in-laws? That outfit is always much different than date night in Vegas. Number 9, dress for success, but stay authentic. While it's vital to dress professionally, don't feel like you have to dress like a man. Rather, find a style that makes you feel empowered and reflects your personality while still being appropriate for the workplace. I always felt most empowered and like a boss in a pair of trousers and a pretty silk blouse and a heel. Totally appropriate for work, and yet it still said power player. I always kept my hem just to the top of my kneecap max. That's most flattering on my leg, yet it was still appropriate for the workspace. Number 10, player body language. Your body language speaks so loudly I cannot hear what you're saying. Strong, straight posture. Maintaining direct eye contact. A firm handshake with a slight smile says strong, confident, and I stand my ground. Avoid slouching, especially when you're in meetings with clients and or higher ups. You need to look like you're able to hold your ground. Also be aware of the tendency that most of us had to swing slightly back and forth in our chair when we're uncomfortable. Next time you're in a meeting, watch how many people kind of naturally do it when it's their turn to speak or when they feel put on the spot. I also avoid what I call the deferential bow when being introduced to somebody and going in for a handshake. Shelli, I'd like you to meet Michael. He's the head of our client division. Oh, hi. Most people tend to do that. In my opinion, that shows a little bit of subservience. Stand straight, smile warmly, extend your hand, give it a nice shake, and say, pleasure to meet you. No bow. He can bow to you. The 3 most important body language takeaways: straight posture, whether standing or sitting, direct eye contact when speaking or listening, firm handshake, maintaining eye contact. Number 11, maintain professional relationships, but keep your personal life separate. Building close relationships at work is important, but it's also equally important to maintain your boundaries. My suggestion is to keep personal details private and steer clear of talking about sensitive topics. For example, while colleagues certainly knew that I was happily married, my husband's name is Oliver, he's an attorney, and they would meet him at different events, that's about the extent of what I'd share, other than general things like what we did that weekend if we were asked, or what we were doing over Christmas, things like that. I wouldn't share anything more personal than that. It's just not appropriate, and quite frankly, it's not their business. My team didn't need to know that we were arguing over the number of shoes in my closet that morning. Number 12, be annoyingly punctual. Having the reputation of being perpetually punctual says, I'm a player, I'm organized, I'm driven, and I have got my you-know-what together fully prepared. It demonstrates respect for other people's time and shows basic professionalism. Here's a personal example. I was working with a brand that wanted to collaborate with me, meaning they were in the ask position. The first Zoom meeting was scheduled for 2 p.m. So of course, 1:55, I'm on the Zoom awaiting for them to arrive. 2 p.m., no one. 2:10, no one. 2:15, I'm about to log off and they finally show up. Bad start, but being the gracious person that I am, I accepted the apology and I just chalked it up as a one-off until it happened a second time. Then I was out. I felt they were disrespectful, disorganized, and if they're late when they're trying to get my business, imagine how it is if and when you actually sign on with them. When people tell you who they are, believe them. Number 13, always proofread your communications. Written communications, emails are a reflection of your professionalism. And let's remember, you can't take them back. You can't say, I never said that. It's all there in its written glory into perpetuity. So before hitting send, no matter how irritated you are, read the email and assume it is going to be shown to anyone and everyone. Once you run it through that lens, think, would I be fine if my boss saw this? If the CEO saw this? If not, change it up. Be polite, to the point, and concise. With regard to errors, always proofread. Look, everybody makes a mistake or a typo from time to time. We're human beings, especially if you're responding on the fly with your smartphone. That's when I find I make the most errors. Get in the habit of taking a beat, rereading what you're about to send before hitting send. Number 14, technology etiquette. Have you ever worked with somebody for whom it takes them like days to respond to an email? So an issue that could have very easily been solved the same day takes a week. Unnecessarily. Or you're forced to follow up days later. Hey, regarding the email I sent you a few days ago, do you have an answer? Only to get a response. Oh, yeah, I was waiting to get more information before I responded to you. Okay, you could have just responded and said, let me gather more information and I will get back to you by Thursday. That would be much more professional than just not responding. As a general rule with business emails, I recommend responding first day with either the information or an acknowledgement that you received the email and you will get back to them by a certain date. Something as simple as, let me get back to you on this tomorrow. That way the person knows that you're on it. I personally never go more than 24 hours without responding to an email. On video calls, make sure to check your background before going live. You don't want an empty wine glass with a lipstick stain on the rim when talking to your boss. Number 15, watch your social media posts. Like it or not, social media is a part of your professional identity. Keeping a clean, appropriate online presence can either enhance your credibility or damage your reputation and the way in which you're perceived. Assume that if you have public profiles, your boss, your colleagues, and potential clients are going to see it, even if it is a private account. Assume that somebody is gonna screenshot you doing a keg stand and send it out to people you don't want to see it. You just never know. Can you tell I'm married to a lawyer? Number 16, always send a follow-up or a recap after meetings. Following up with an email recap or a summary after a meeting with somebody shows that you value the meeting's discussion, you were listening, it clarifies the next steps, and ensures that everybody is on the same page. It also provides written documentation of the discussion should any disagreements arise in the future. Number 17, please don't gossip. It is the height of unprofessionalism. Don't do it. Moreover, it's going to take you from you are a contender for bigger, better things to common, petty, and typical, which is not what you are. It can also damage trust, create drama, and hinder teamwork. All things that say, do not promote her, she's a drama queen and it's gonna be a hot mess. Truth, ladies, I had a top level salesperson on one of my teams. She had the ability to consistently pull in unheard of sales numbers and navigate client difficulties with a precision I've never seen. She also loved to gossip, create divisiveness, and basically act as a cancer among the team. It was so bad that her manager, who actually reported up to me, pulled me in to help her deal with the issue. Here's how it went. Sitting there with she and her manager, I said, listen, your production is incredibly valuable to the team. I'm not going to discount that. Your attitude, however, is not. Right now, you have the decision to go left or right. You can knock it off and stay with the team, or you can continue to choose the behavior, at which point I will terminate the employment relationship. She was gone within a week. It was a completely unforced error on her part for something she could have easily controlled. Number 18, give credit generously. You know the guy who takes all the credit for your great ideas? Don't be that guy. You might win the battle, but you're going to lose the war. Not only will people not respect you, you will also become the office joke, I promise. Recognizing the contributions of others just creates a very positive team atmosphere. It fosters free-flowing collaboration, and it builds a positive work environment that everybody benefits from long term. For example, I had a monthly ops meeting, which was an operations meeting each month with all of the C-level executives to promote sort of the state of the union of the division that I ran. If one of my people had a great idea, I always said, Eric had a great idea that I'd like to present. Eric wasn't in the meeting, of course, but it certainly got back to him that I gave him props and credit for his idea. Do you think that hurt or helped me as a leader? Steal ideas and they will stop coming your way. Give credit where credit is due. Number 19, know when to speak and when to listen. This is the opposite of the person that feels he needs to loudly dominate every single conversation to make sure everybody knows that he's in charge. Knowing when to contribute and when to sit back and listen ensures that you are kept a part of important conversations in the future. I mean, if you know that inviting somebody to participate in a discussion is just going to suck the air out of the room, you're not going to invite them unless you absolutely have to. In my experience, some of the best leaders were also the best listeners. They had direct eye contact. They listened intently. They asked follow-up questions, and they waited for you to finish before giving a response. That fosters respect, team building, and the free flow of good ideas. In short, synergy. Number 20, show everyone basic courtesy. Building security, colleagues, support staff, all the way up the chain to executives. Treating everyone with basic courtesy shows a level of class, strength, and confidence. Only weak people feel the need to treat other people rudely in order to make themselves feel better. Don't be that person. Most importantly, if you are in a leadership example, everybody else will follow suit. Everyone's role in a business is important to the success of the entire organization. My mantra when running my teams was always this. Y'all, we are like a wagon wheel. Nobody's job is more important than the other. It takes every single spoke in the wheel to make it turn. And for more etiquette goodies, be sure to check out my next video, 10 Everyday Etiquette Rules All Classy Ladies Follow. Have a great week, ladies. I'll see you in a couple days.
No lessons learned.